Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, Soulight Hypnotherapy. Happy Easter to everyone. Today's reading, I'm using the Druid Oracle Tarot deck along with Sibylla and Divina to clarify. This is an eye-opening reading, okay? I've asked some serious questions. I've posed some serious questions to the cards. There's something that's on my mind. I just want to say this. I don't know. I want to blast somebody. I want to blast my own kin, my own relatives, my own kin. You guys who follow me know that there was a couple of years back, maybe it was the first year of Trump's presidency, that there was a big fallout at the family Thanksgiving due to a older brother of mine whom I had so much respect for and admired so much in terms of his intelligence and how he's transformed his life. I really admire my brother. But my brother is a Trumpster. Blacker than this board and a Trumpster. Yep. And you can't tell him otherwise. And I found out yesterday, overheard that he was celebrating Easter with some friends at his house. So he was entertaining. So I don't know what to say. I'm appalled. The level of brainwashing of these Republicans. You guys should check out The Family on Netflix. I think there's a lot of truth to that documentary. Check out The Family on Netflix. And know that these Trumpsters may not all be practicing social distancing. Okay? My brother is an ER nurse. His wife works in the ER as well. So how can two very smart people be so stupid? It's in the mental programming and the conditioning. That's what we're dealing with, and that's how deep it is. Now, the questions that I posed to the cards today are the following. What are the origins of the virus? Was it artificially man-made or naturally created? Why has Trump reacted in the manner that he has in regards to this pandemic? Which is kind of obvious, right? You know, what were his obvious reasons? But what are also his deepest, darkest reasons and ulterior motives and feelings about its effect on the world, humanity, his country, and also his actions thus far? I want to look into that. And why did the divine creator, God, the force, the universe, whatever you call it, even allow this pandemic? And I'm not trying to ask one of those silly, innocent little kid questions. You know, why does God allow kids to be born handicapped? Okay, we all know these things happen. That's just part of of living. That there are difficulties some of us come in with, and it's about individual lessons that we all have to overcome and evolve through. So I'm not really asking why did he allow this pandemic. What I really want to know is, what's the higher purpose behind it? What purpose will it serve in his grand design? And what are we to learn from this whole experience that we're having right now? So I'm hoping to answer these questions and more with this reading. And I'm wishing you all a happy, safe distancing Easter. This reading is going to be exclusively airing on my Patreon channel right now. And the link to my Patreon channel is in the description box below. If you would like to know the answers to the questions I have posed to the cards, please join me on Patreon and support this channel, as this channel has been suppressed. And I need your support. Also, anyone who's donating to the channel and requesting this reading, donating at least $5, guys, and requesting this reading, I will, gladly send you a link and thank you for your support. That being said, don't click off yet. I'm going to give you a little snippet of what this reading is going to entail. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, Soulight Hypnotherapy on YouTube, and please share this link with your friends who are like-minded. So, to start the reading, in this section here, we have the Star and the Lovers, clarified by the Enemy and Infantilism reversed. Oops. I thought I had my board ready. Hold on. There we go. Thought I had my board ready to go. Of course. So we have the Star, the Lovers, Infantilism reversed. Okay, this is how it's read. So the Star and the Lovers upright. The Star can represent foreign distance energies, on high, heavenly energies, right? Universal energies, higher intelligence, divine guidance. It has a divine meaning to it. It adds divine energy to whatever it's next to. And there's some sort of deep divine connection going on here that's not earthly, right? It's heavenly or foreign or distant. That tells me right off the bat, because the Star card provides the solution and the answer, that this was artificially made. But by who? And we got clarified by the Enemy card. And why? Why? The Star can represent, like I told you, foreign, distant energies, or energies from a heavenly realm or origin. So on the one hand, you got some choices here in the Lover's card. You could say that it was created by God. Yes, everything was created by God. We're all created by God. And everything is part of God's plan. So it has that origin. You could also say that it was created by aliens or extraterrestrials, right? You laugh or you scoff at that. I laugh and scoff, but, not really. Not really. Only because I've been conditioned to laugh and scoff at it. Getting a Zacharias Tension feeling here. Okay? Getting a little Zacharias Tension feeling here. Just a little background on Zacharias Tension. He wrote some books. I forget what they're called. 12 Planets, I think. And it talks about the origins of mankind, how we were of earthly origin, but we were chemically transformed in a lab by aliens to more suit their needs in terms of like being their slaves. And there are actual Sumerian tablets, which are older than the Bible, that translated tell that story. But there's a lot of controversy behind that, but I'm sure a lot of it has been planted. A lot of it makes sense. But then some of it, I don't know, I don't agree with. So I'm torn about it. But I'm getting the Zacharias Tension feeling here, because one of the things he describes is the paradise that Adam and Eve lived in, Eden. And one of the stories in the book is that Eden was the lab for the first experiments, the first Adam and the first Eve. And that they were chemically altered, their DNA was altered. So I always get the feeling of healing, a place of rejuvenation, a place where solutions are found and created. So I'm getting a lab feeling from this and the whole Adam and Eve story. So you get my Zacharias Tension reference. Now you understand where I'm coming from, because I know I'm going about it in a long way. So you could say this was created possibly by the aliens or extraterrestrials and picking that up. Or you could say this was created by a foreign, distant nation. Maybe a triad. And this is part of their agenda. So I think that we do have three choices here. There's three energies in the Lover's card, and Lover stands for choices and decisions. But I think we can rule one of those choices out. Originally from the story of Adam and Eve, which this Lover's card depicts, the third party would be the snake rather than a deer. I've never heard of a deer in the story of Adam and Eve. The third party depicted should be a snake, but in this particular deck, it's a deer. Now the snake is wily and tempting. He tempted Eve and Adam to do something of carnal nature that would make them as wise as God or the gods, according to Zacharias Tension, as the gods. But I digress. Let me get back to this card. Instead of a snake, we have a deer here, looking on. And this sweet, innocent deer lovingly and allowingly watches nature take course. Right? So I think this deer represents God rather than the devil, which the snake would represent, or Satan. I think this deer is representing God, whose nature is good, kind, and allowing. He has given us free will. He created us and gave us free will to allow man to explore and to create and to evolve back into his higher nature in his divine timing. So I believe this is God here. And it's him looking down on this situation and allowing it to play out, allowing it to happen, because it's part of life. I do not feel that this is God's plan for us or his will for us. I don't think that this virus was naturally created or was sent upon us like a plague. It is a plague, but I don't think it's God sent. Although I do feel it has some divine origins or connections, see, along with foreign ones. So, like I said, this star card can represent to me a place of healing and transformation and rejuvenation, a hospital, a lab, a place where solutions are found. And I'm just getting a temperance vibe, the tarot card, the temperance, the vibe of mixing solutions here. The solutions have been mixed, then created, and they're being poured out upon the earth and poured out upon unsuspecting man. Right? I had it set up like this. I just wanted you to see the detail of a card. It's being poured out upon the unsuspecting man, and the enemy is lying in wait. So I'm just trying to be dramatic and illustrate this for you. The enemy clarifies the star, which tells me that the virus or the solution created came from a negative foreign place for a negative solution to trip man up, to make him fall weak, and die. So that ominous changes and transformation, a strategy, can take place. But there is a divine connection here, a strong one. I can't ignore, but I don't read dead people, and I don't read extraterrestrials. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, and I don't feel it's safe to do that. So I don't read. I did once. I read about Prince, but I don't read people who have passed over anymore. And I don't read about extraterrestrials, so don't ask me what the alien agenda is. Your guess is as good as mine. I don't want to know. But I know that there's good people and bad people, and there's probably good aliens and bad aliens. That's not what we're talking about here, but there could be an unearthly connection involved. Let's just leave it at that. The enemy is a bad person or energy. Placed in your path, secretly, he is hidden, an invisible enemy. You don't see him. And it was placed, purposely designed, and placed and sent. It also represents a rival who's full of grudges and secrets. And I get the red cloak here, and I think Russia. Or someone else. But it's definitely someone who's full of grudges and secrets. This is deliberately given and sent and poured upon man unsuspectingly. The Lovers represents a major choice or decision made, or when made, will alter not only your life, but the lives of those around you. Infantilism clarifies the Lover's card here. Because infantilism is a negative card, right? This little girl has accidentally strolled upon her dead dog. Boy, what a shock. It's not a good card. So this tells me, since this is clarifying the Lovers, that this isn't love making going on. Someone deeply connected with foreign energies, or let's just say foreign energies, and the collective innocence, us, man, are getting seriously fucked here. This isn't lovemaking. We're getting seriously fucked here. That's what the card is telling me. We are getting seriously fucked here. Someone in this connection is getting seriously fucked. Because there's blackmail involved in this connection. There's blackmail in the enemy card. I read in layers. I'm reading different levels of energies, the collective right now, and other things. Okay, all at the same time. There is much loss in morale of the collective due to the loss of life and unpleasant news being told to us. The star can stand for large outputs of people, the whole public, the whole world, the universe. Large outputs of people getting fucked, right? Dealing with death. And there's also much loss of the collective due to the loss and unpleasant news and large outputs of money being squandered. This card tells me that this is a reality check for all of us about our leader, about our world, but mainly about our leader who's proven how inadequate he is to handle this serious situation. Instead, he chooses to act in a spoiled and arrogant manner, including these Republicans, some of these Republicans who refuse to do the social distancing, who refuse to govern their land in the proper way. And they are escaping their responsibilities because they're not adequate to handle it. Also, the squandering of time and resources are reflected in this card. So welcome back. I adjusted the camera, and also that was the first part of the video was for the YouTube people, and hopefully the ones who are interested and want to know more have come over to me on Patreon to get the rest of the story. So, like I said, to sum it up, I don't feel that this is God's will or plan. It's not His design. I think it's a foreign design, or it may even have some unearthly origins. But I don't feel it is God's will that He sent to us, okay? But He will work it all out for us in the end. Because we're all encapsulated. We all have free will, but we're encapsulated in God's will. God's plan is the ultimate plan that will be carried out. In spite of our free will, it will all work out. So I'm being told to tell you that. So what does Trump stand to gain by taking the actions he's taken so far with this coronavirus? We have the Nine of Pentacles clarified by the Waiting card, and the Queen of Cups clarified by the Justice reversed, or the Man of the Law reversed, however you want to call him. Okay, so well, this Nine of Pentacles tells me that he stands to gain a hell of a lot. Nine of Pentacles is a card of gaining great material wealth. And he's waiting for something to develop here, waiting for something to develop. Could be this chloroquine cure that he keeps trying to make us take. Or try. The Nine of Pentacles says that he's acting on his own accord with this cure. Name dropping it. He's doing this out of self-interest. It also says that he's close to reaching a goal that he wants to achieve. And he's just waiting for the next phase for things to develop. That's one story. He could also be waiting for this cure to be developed too. It's almost there. It's almost there. He may have some kind of insider knowledge here with the Queen of Cups about this, as the Queen of Cups is very insightful. And he's trying to show himself with this Queen of Cups as feeling and caring and supportive. But he actually comes across as very elitist, isolated, and aloof. The Queen of Cups has, like I said, a caring nature and all this insightful information. But it's clarified by the Man of the Law reverse, which tells me this nature, this caring nature and expression, and this insightful information is unlawful, illegal, dishonest, wrong, immorally wrong, and extremely biased. The man of the law reversed tells me there is total dishonesty here. This is very unfair what Trump is doing. It's illegal. If it's not illegal, it should be. It is a travesty of justice. This is very unfair what he's doing. And there is a lot of inequality here that he's showing in his actions, in the help that he offers or renders to give. It's not equal. It instead serves his purpose. So he's being very selective who he chooses to help. And it's telling us that that's, and it's so corrupt, so wrong, and it's so unjust. As well as what he's doing in terms of profiting from this chloroquine. Tells me that he is going to be accused of this legally in some way, served in some way about this. One day he will face some sort of legal problems or trouble about it. Someone may come to prosecute him one day. The Queen of Swords below is a prosecutor. And then we have the man of the law here. So I see some legal issues ahead. The man of the law reversed becomes or represents a corrupt evil man or person who is highly ambivalent and unpredictable in their actions. So don't be fooled by any change of nature he may be displaying with this Queen of Cups in the near future, or that he has displayed in some way. Trump is all about Trump and what he can gain materially. The true nature of his actions is the man of the law, reversed. And it's saying he can't predict the coming cure. He keeps predicting, but his predictions are wrong and off and biased. I see him making a lot of money from this chloroquine, a lot of money. He will gain a lot. And like I said, I see a charge here, a formal charge. I'm also seeing a charge of bribery or corruption. It may involve a judge or a lawyer that he has in his pocket. I think it's a judge. It could involve a lawyer. But when this goes to court or when this is prosecuted, I'm not sure that justice will be carried out. I'm not sure when this is going to play out, but I'm just picking up this story. I see injustice is carried out. Justice is not served. This is something based on bribery and corruption. So that's just a little something extra that just popped out. So we know his motives are for material gain. And I think he's under some sort of understanding that this chloroquine can be turned into a cure, all right? And so he can be some kind of savior if that takes place, because he said it. So he's waiting for it to develop. All right, so what are his true reasons for the actions that he's taken regarding this pandemic so far? Now we have the Emperor card, clarified by fright, and we have the Queen of Swords, clarified by some money. I'm not going to pick up the Emperor because he's kind of sandwiched under my other cards and it's going to throw off my board. But hopefully you can see here that the details of this card a little bit, because I think it's important. It plays into the story. So Trump's true motivations and feelings are influenced by this Emperor card. This could be someone who has a dominating and controlling hand over you in terms of the meaning of a card. And you benefit from the Emperor's help. In this deck, he's very oligarchy looking, isn't he? So I do feel it is Putin. I feel it represents Putin, but I read in layers it also represents other characters. And he has a dominating hand over Trump, which I feel is related to some blackmail and having to do with some young, innocent girl who got fucked or raped. Excuse my language, I'm sorry. It's Easter. I feel like she's not innocent anymore. She's not innocent anymore. And this isn't lovemaking. This is something like rape. I think that's what Putin has on Trump. Although I don't think at this time Trump is really, truly afraid of that coming out anymore. I mean, he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue at this time and get away with it with his followers. They're so dug in with him. They're so programmed. So his party would let him get away with pretty much anything. So I don't really feel like that's an issue anymore. I think that he's fully committed to Putin now for all that Putin has done for him. He's in love with Putin metaphorically. He is Putin's bitch. This is Trump right here. Right? Getting seriously fucked by Putin. And so are we. Because he represents America because he's the president. Unfortunately. The Fright card here clarifies the Emperor. This tells me this master, this lord influence, which could be Putin, but I feel it's also Trump's energy. Because Trump sees himself now as a master and a lord, an empirical ruler, a divine ruler, placed rather than elected. Their agenda together, but mainly his agenda, is to break up. This is the real reason behind it, guys, is to break up the American and the world economy situation. To break up their independence beyond repair, right? To isolate us, to cause a delay in the elections. I'm seeing a delay here. I don't know if you can see it over here. I'm going to raise the board when I get down to the end. But we have the Hangman and the Six of Wands, delay in the elections. To create conflicts and to cause destruction. Literally, the definition of this card is to say to cause destruction through the aggravation of a disease. And the Emperor has a strategy, a plan. That's it, guys. The plan is to break up the American and the world economy, to challenge our independence beyond repair, to isolate us and cause delay to the election, create conflict and depression, economic and psychological, and destruction through the aggravation of a disease. Who is the Emperor? Both Trump and Putin, I feel, are married to this agenda, to this strategy. And there is blackmail in the enemy card, which could be the link that connects them in this marriage or plan. I do feel this is mainly Putin's plan Trump goes along with. He's Putin's bitch, right? And everybody has a Lord and Master. Everybody has someone who's higher than them. Who's Putin's master? I'm just looking at the horns here. That's all. That's all I'm saying. It's of unearthly origin. But only if you're open to hearing that part of this reading, if only if you're open to receiving that. There's plenty here for you to digest in the physical realm that I think makes sense too. So don't scoff at me. So Fried is telling me that this emperor's plan and strategy is about dominating America and the world, possibly the whole world. So Trump's true feelings about this pandemic and its impact on the American people and humanity in general is not the Queen of Cups, who shows care and concern and wants to help the situation. It's the Queen of Swords. She don't give a shit. She's a cold, blooded queen. Truth be told, and she tells the truth. She doesn't give a shit. And neither does he. Impersonal and cold. That's what I'm getting from Trump. I do sense he has at times some, not remorse, but there sometimes he gets a tinge of feeling, and then he just readjusts himself to the plan and to the cold, so basically what he's saying is very impersonal and cold, and some people may have to die, and he's okay with that. Very distant. The Some Money card clarifies the Queen of Swords. Some Money talks about not having adequate resources to make an exchange, to purchase what you want, to get what you want, right? So you have to settle for less. Queen of Swords is a card about someone who gives orders for me, and those orders are carried out and enforced like law. I see this card as a commander, someone who gives the order and it is followed. This order was given by this Emperor energy to carry out the plan. But ultimately, it won't be enough to execute the plan fully. There's an inadequacy here. And I'm getting a really cold feeling from Trump that yes, this is all unfortunate, but necessary for the sake of the plan. Life will go on, the economy will pick up, and at least it will for me when this is all over. So that's how I'm getting his energy here and his true feelings. But I don't think ultimately the plan will be carried out to fruition or its highest achievement because of some inadequacy or something that falls short. Fingers crossed. So finally, let's end this reading with, why did the divine creator, God, the universe, allow this pandemic? Okay? What was the higher purpose? What's the higher purpose that it serves? What are we to learn from this experience? What is the lesson we can all gain from Corona? So Corona, what is this all about? We have the Six of Wands clarified by the Absence reversed, the Hangman clarified by weakness, and the Four of Wands clarified by the Surprise card. We have already ruled out that God did not send this. This is not a plague sent by God. It is not by His design, although He allows it. And it does have divine and foreign origins. The Six of Wands is a card about winning, success, and victory. He's victorious on his horse. It's also a card about leadership, competition, elections, and getting a lot of public attention. There is a lot riding on this election, absence reverse tells me, and we can't afford to lose. Neither can Trump. So this corona has a great impact on the elections. It's the main thing that's coming through. Not only this particular one, but I feel expansive about this. That one of the biggest lessons that we're supposed to take from this is to pay more closer attention and look more closely into our election processes. We need to handle our elections differently. Okay? This has been a painful lesson to learn, that we need to adjust our elections in some way. Absence reverse also talks about obstacles and delays. Sorry, I didn't realize I wasn't in the camera. Absence also talks about obstacles and delays, maybe an obstacle or delay in this election. Is a challenge coming up, because the hangman is a pause as well. A pause or a block or impediment. Mainly the hangman can represent a sacrifice or suffering for the sake of Four of Wands, which is peace, harmony, and balance. Restore to the house, to the land, to the country. So I think this hangman, excuse me guys, represents our collective suffering of the corona. And it's a sacrifice that we have to pay for the readjusting of harmony and balance back to the land, back to the government, right? And it has something to do with these elections. The weakness card represents the sickness or the corona itself and what it does to us. It's dire, it's deadly. There's loss of life potential here. And these are the sacrifices made and paid in order to restore the balance. Both of these cards, the weakness and the hangman, reference paying close attention. Paying close attention to the election. Another lesson is we need to look at each other as human beings rather than just political sides. And I'm picking up that, specifically that Trump hamstrung, or he's hamstringing, that our healthcare workers. He basically blamed our healthcare workers for stealing masks and equipment and maybe ventilators too. I'm not sure if he accused him of stealing ventilators, but I know he accused, so he made some implication that things were getting stolen. And he was pointing the finger at our healthcare workers. I think his doing that is going to make people look at him differently. They're looking at him differently now. Right? They're looking at his character. Hopefully, the some who were still on the fence or still hanging on the tree, still undecided, hopefully they're looking at him differently now. As well as his statements about sacrificing, this is a sacrifice, the elderly and the sick and those in our nursing homes for the sake of the economy, to get it pumping again. All of these things we need to look at and address. Our nursing homes weren't even addressed and prepared for this coronavirus, and they knew it was coming. He had knowledge. As early as January, he knew. So what I'm getting from this is that ultimately the corona serves the purpose to affect the election. And it is going to negatively affect Trump's popularity. I know that there was some polls saying his popularity was rising, but I think it's going to get worse. It says it negatively affects his popularity. There's a lessening of feelings here for this leader. So to sum it up, I feel like man, by his design, or some foreign energy, foreign man or foreign distant energy, of divine origin possibly, whatever. I feel like this man, this emperor, has taken us down this dark passage for his strategy to rule America and the world. But God ultimately, like I said, he has a greater plan that we're all a part of. Is going to redirect us back to his plan. Okay? At least that's what I'm hoping for. Okay, that's what I'm reading here, and that's what I'm hoping and believing right now. Okay? The Four of Wands is a good card as an outcome. It talks about stability, security, protection, home, where you feel safe. And my very first reading on Trump 2 years ago, the day of the inauguration, I accidentally did a reading on Trump. I was doing a love reading for myself, but the cards I did, Vera Sibilla, the cards just gave me a Trump reading. It freaked me out. The first card that fell out was the Casa card, which for me in tarot is the Four of Wands. But it fell out like this, and I immediately knew, okay, country's in trouble. This is a White House that is upside down. Well, look, Corona brings the White House back upright. It restores harmony and peace and balance, not only to the government, but to the land, to the country. It will be restored. This will come to an end, all right? It's not the end of the world. The surprise card clarifies the Four of Wands. This talks about a lucky gain and a win. A win is celebrated, and there's a celebration in this card as well. And I feel it's a lucky gain and a win for the country, and a celebration for the country who's overcome such dire challenges over these past 3.5 years, 4 years, and suffered such deadly sacrifice. But good comes out in the end, and I feel the purpose that God has allowed it is because it makes people look twice at our leader and our leaders. Okay? They so easily will sacrifice us for their greater gain and good. That needs to change. That needs to be adjusted. And we need to take more control. We've given up too much control to them. We need to take back control and make them work for us rather than us working for them, like slaves. Back to that Zacharias Tension reference I had in the beginning of the reading. So I hope this wasn't too choppy. I had some trouble with my board, and I hope you guys gain some reflection on this and don't blame God. This is all about man's greed for power. and to dominate others. And wow, how deep does it go? How deep will it go? And I said that in my previous readings that the election would be close, which, contradicts what I just said here, that his popularity is lessened. And it could be because of unfair play. All right? If it is a close race, it's because of shady shenanigans and the fact that this virus and also these political leaders have made it difficult for people of certain communities to vote. Not only the virus, but these people have made it difficult for certain communities to vote. And that's going to play a big part in how the elections play out and what needs to be looked at differently and adjusted. Taken down, really. Also the loss of a lot of lives, especially people of certain communities, people of color. The corona allows everyone a chance to see the character and the corruption of our leader and his administration. I don't think it's God sent, but it is God allowing for his higher purpose and good to be carried out, to eradicate the bad stuff. He's allowed our free will, but at the end of the day, as my sister would say, his will be done. Happy Easter, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being a Patreon supporters. I really appreciate you guys. God bless you. And stay safe. Social distance. Wash your hands. Wipe down your doorknobs. And just stay home as much as you can. If you don't need to go out, don't go out. All right. Blessings. Bye.